Up Liberty fans, this is NYLFTV and SSN Liberty. We are here finishing covering the Commissioner's Cup. We are back. It's been a couple of weeks. It felt like forever.
Yeah.
The New York Liberty win and defeat the rival Crosstown Aces 93-85 behind Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu with some really huge games today. Breanna Stewart, the Commissioner's Cup MVP, rightfully so. I would have given it to Sabrina Ionescu.
Yeah,
she had an amazing game,
yeah.
but we'll talk about that a little bit more. Let's talk about this game, the Commissioner's Cup, the Liberty with an opportunity to do something that New York basketball has been great on this season, and the NBA especially, winning the cup and hopefully going to win a championship. But let's stay in the present moment and let's talk about this game today. Gabe, what did you see today?
Talking about this game, I mean, the buzzword around this team has been heart, intensity recently. And in that third quarter, you started to see some things slip. They only scored 14 points in that quarter, did the Liberty. That's where past couple of games, this Liberty team would be like, oh no, here we go again. And Maddie Kenny said postgame, asked Breanna Stewart, said, hey, in that third quarter, it looked like things were going down that dark trail once again. What did it take? What was that heart? How was that an example of the heart that this team had? And Stewie just talked about that this team does obviously have that heart. And I felt like that was always like kind of like a weird thing to say because you have champions, MVPs on this roster. Obviously there's heart. Obviously there's players who play with intensity on this team, but we weren't seeing it. And then they came out today, especially in that fourth quarter, was super impressive to me, the way that they battled back, had that 10-0 run to regain that lead. So it was a great finish, but also a great start for this team. That was another thing that this team has talked about the past couple of weeks, saying, hey, we have to start better off in games. And Sabrina Ionescu started off the game with 8 points. She had that layup, the back-to-back threes. She looked great to start the game. And then you had that defense running up and down the floor. They scored 27 points in that first quarter. So you saw that intensity. You lacked a little bit in the middle of the game, brought it back at the end, showed that heart that this team needs to continue in, and that's why they're champions here today.
Commissioner's Cup champions, first team to do it 2 times. Breanna Stewart, this is her fourth Commissioner's Cup, correct?
It's pretty good.
Fourth Commissioner's Cup. And she did a phenomenal job today. But what I do want to speak about a little bit is obviously the injury report. There was no Asia Wilson on the other end, no Asia Wilson for the Las Vegas Aces. And for the New York Liberty, we were without Satu Sabali. But I do want to speak about some of the DNPs for this game because we do have to speak about this. But Nigel Hamilton was a DNP for this game, coach's decision. We did ask if she was, if there was any injuries to report. She was healthy, so this was a healthy DNP. Han Shu, also a DNP, usually the first big off the bench. We saw Raquel Carrera come off the bench. And Rebecca Allen, we're not surprised about that, but also a DNP. Coach going with a short rotation, an 8-woman lineup today. And the bench, we saw some production from the bench. They put up 16 points off the bench, 14 coming from Marine and Rebecca Gardner. But speak about those DNPs real quick. Let's start with Breanna Hamilton.
Yeah, certainly interesting, right? You go into this game and you think B is going to play a good portion of this game and play an important role in this game. She comes out, doesn't play a minute. And look, you have to ask the question. Andy did a good job asking Coach Chris DeMarco post-game, and Chris DeMarco's answer was just, hey, things were kind of just unpredictable for us. We didn't know what rotations the Aces were going to go with without Asia Wilson. So, I mean, I guess you have a point there, but even then, right, you're thinking, okay, the Aces are going more small ball lineup. Can't Breanna Hamilton defend a small ball 5 in those lineups? And obviously we both know that she can. So you start to have these thoughts and asking ourselves, why? Is it more of an offensive, maybe because our offense hasn't been all that efficient recently? So is it more of an offensive move? Because the defense is there. So definitely an interesting move there to not have Breanna Hamilton on in this game, but Chris DeMarco did reassure that obviously she's going to play a big part. Obviously, could that just be PR speak? Could that be whatever it is? Yeah. Who knows? But it is definitely an interesting decision not to have her on the floor tonight, especially given her value.
Definitely an interesting decision. I thought he deflected with his answer, and would definitely continue to observe the situation. But Nigel, her minutes obviously have been a little bit scattered, a little bit all over the place. She hasn't said anything herself, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that she might not be so happy about her current role on this team. Just seeing Sabrina Ionescu start and knowing that Sabrina Ionescu is nothing like Benajelani Hamilton on the defensive side of the ball, and continues to get that longer leash. Obviously, she's Sabrina Ionescu, but Benajelani Hamilton definitely deserves to be on that floor. So we're going to continue to monitor that situation and see how it goes. Pauline Astier, she was phenomenal again in this starting role. She was 5 of 8 from the field. She scored 15 points, 5 total rebounds, 4 assists. Obviously, just doing great things as a rookie in this league. Let's talk about the play that she has and how important it's been just to kind of have those minutes from Pauline.
Yeah, I mean, Sabrina Ionescu said it perfectly post-game. She said she is not a rookie. To us, in our eyes, to everyone on the team, she's not a rookie. Her poise, just her ability to just get better game by game, make the right plays, and whether she is driving down low and sinking the defense, or if she's just driving down low and getting the basket herself, right? She has so many different variables to her game, and the ability to sometimes stretch out, hit that three-point shot, like she hit a massive three-point shot in the fourth quarter tonight to keep the Liberty ahead in that game before they really went on their 10-0 run there to kind of seal it, bring some more distance in this game. So it was nice to see just her ability to continue to just put the pressure on, keep that poise, and show these traits of an experienced player from a player in her first year in the WNBA. So yeah, I mean, look, obviously the MVPs of this game are Sab and Stewie for obvious reason, but right after that, Pauline Astier has to get that nod as really one of the most important players on this Liberty team.
100% one of the most important players on this team. Speaking about other important players, we had some minutes from Jonquil Jones. Jonquil Jones did not play great minutes tonight. She started the game with Butterfingers, couldn't keep hold of the ball, but with Jonquil Jones on that bench is when the Aces kind of really went on their run, and the Liberty just couldn't put the Aces away. Let's just speak about how important it is to have Jonquil Jones on the floor with her defensive presence. Although she did not have a great offensive game, when you take her out, it just makes things a lot easier for the Aces. So let's speak about the importance of just seeing JJ out there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously JJ shot 1 for 6, but she was a plus 17 on the floor. So obviously she made a big impact in this game. And you kind of mentioned it. When JJ's on the bench, it just allowed the Aces to get into the paint, allowed them to hit those layups. And tonight, they had 46 points in the paint. This is a team that isn't necessarily trying to score points in the paint, but tonight they just went into the paint every single time they could when JJ was on the floor and off the floor, but especially when she was off the floor. But what I love from JJ in this game, especially late in this game, was her rebounding. She was so tenacious grabbing those boards at the end of the game that every single time she got a board, it felt like another nail putting on the coffin to this game, just because we've seen so many times with this Liberty team giving up those second chances, giving up those offensive rebounds, and we're like, oh, just get the stop, get the board, and let's get back on offense and try to do something. Tonight, JJ was not allowing that. She had nice seals on the offensive or defensive players on the Aces and just made those stops and just completed those possessions. And I think that value herself that she had on the floor, whether it was stopping some of those drives and those rebounds, really made up for what was a lackluster shooting night for her, which has been rare recently because she's been starting to really feel it offensively.
100%. Look, as we close this out, 15,000 in attendance today for the Commissioner's Cup. We had a lot of people in the house. We had Spike Lee in the house. It's like every time there's a championship game in New York, you're going to see Spike Lee in the building. It's good to see him take off the orange and blue to put on some seafoam and represent. We did see him here for the finals when they won. We also see him here in the playoffs, so it's amazing. We also had Donovan Mitchell in attendance. We had Tom Brady Incognito in attendance, Bam Adebayo. And it's awesome just to see everything that's surrounding New York City right now. Next up, this Friday, another rivalry matchup with a pretty good team from the West Coast with the Minnesota Lynx. Let's talk about that matchup real quick before we close this out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I chose to wear these colors today, not Friday. I don't want to represent the Minnesota Lynx too much, but look, it's going to be another tough battle, and they've been a great team. And defensively speaking, I mean, this team is clamps. Like
even without Nafisa.
Even without Collier, like it's just so coming into the year, I felt like a lot of people didn't have as high expectations on this Minnesota Lynx team. We thought they'd be able to compete, but not at the top of the league type of level, especially without Nafisa for an extended period of time. You watch their defense. You watch what Olivia Miles is able to do on a nightly basis. And it's just incredible to watch that every player is having such a big impact on that team, and they just keep on rolling. So for the Liberty, who have struggled a little bit against these tougher defenses like the Valkyrie we saw a couple nights ago, you have an ability now to maybe try to say, hey, we still can move past that. We still can be better. And now it's a big challenge. Have that fan base here. We had 15,000 tonight. Let's get 17,000 in attendance on Friday night, and let's put on a show here for this team and prove that this Liberty team is for real. I think this team plays better when they're playing better opponents. It shouldn't be the way it is. You should play every opponent the same. But I think you put up another tough opponent in the Minnesota Lynx, have that little rivalry edge to it. Again, I think it'll be a fun night.
Yeah, definitely will be a fun night. Again, we're going to see the Minnesota Lynx on Friday. Before we close this out, we do have to highlight the New York Liberty are the first team to win the Commissioner's Cup 2 times. They put up 51 points in the first half, a team high. Let's talk about Sabrina Ionescu. Her 26 points is the most points scored in a Commissioner's Cup game, and she is also the first player in WNBA history to have the totals of 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in a Commissioner's Cup game. So a great way to close this out. Again, we are waiting to see if they can do what the Knicks did.
Are they going to put up the banner?
Are they going to
put up the banner? Or is Jonathan Kolb going to sit here and say, no, we'll put up a banner in October?
I think he'll do the latter. I think he'll do the latter because he's a very championship-oriented man who wants to see the team.
I want to see the banner.
I would definitely love to see the banner too, but I'd like to see it in October when it goes up with the championship.
Not wrong.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm Kenny Saint-Vil. This is my guy, Gabe Zoda. We'll see you on the next one, Liberty versus the Lynx on Friday.